Thiruvan Saranai. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Dhamma Sarana Sunday School live streaming session. I'm Thilini Teacher, and it is my privilege to be the moderator for today's session. For those of you who have missed the previous sessions, they are available on YouTube. In the first session, we covered the 5 precepts, how to behave at the temple, the importance of the Ratana Sutra, the importance of mindfulness and controlling anger. The second session covered the qualities of good friends, the 6-year effort by ascetic Siddhartha prior to attaining enlightenment, the 6 sense doors, and practical ways to use wisdom and gratitude during these times of isolation. The third session covered the 4 noble truths, the Gatha Nahi Verena Verani, the story of Venerable Sariputta, and the Lord Buddha's kindness, fairness, and equality. Today's topics will be the Eightfold Noble Path, Vannupatajataka, the Buddha's enlightenment, the 7 weeks that followed this, and the importance of meditation and mindfulness. On today's panel, we have the Venerable Shanta Vimala Thero, Nandalal teacher, Siddhanta teacher, and Ajanti teacher. Thank you to the Venerable Monk and the teachers for your presence and dedication. Just a reminder that anyone is welcome to listen, and we encourage the participation of parents. Make sure you guys have a pen and paper around to jot down any questions that you might have, as well as any useful points that you thought were interesting. There is an opportunity to ask today's speakers your questions, which will be addressed at the Q&A session at the end of the program. If you're watching on Microsoft Teams, you can click on the question mark on the top right-hand side of the screen and type your question into the box. If you're watching on YouTube, just post the question in the chat. You can post questions at any time, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. Okay, so let's make a start. May I respectfully invite the Venerable Shanta Vimala Thero to administer the 5 precepts. Avasarai Swamin Vahanse.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to our Sunday live program. First of all, I would like you to observe 5 precepts. So before that, I would like to ask you to recite Namo Tassa 3 times in order to observe 5 precepts. Namo Tassa. Repeat after me. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Sarana-gamanang sampunnang. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinnadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Micchachara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majjapama Dattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Tisaranena sadding panchasilan dhamman sadukang surakkitang kattva appamadena sampade tabbang.
Thank you, Venerable Shantivimala, for administering the 5 precepts. Venerable Shantivimala Thero is also our first speaker of the session and will be teaching us all about the Noble Eightfold Path, which is a fundamental Buddhist teaching. It's a great and practical way to improve your mind, develop proper thoughts and habits, and live your life in a wholesome and benevolent way. So let's all tune in and listen carefully. Avasarai Swamin Wahanse.
Good afternoon, everyone, once again. So as usual, we have been discussing and talking about various topics throughout our Sunday live program. So today also our panel members have organized and have come up with various important topics. So today I'm going to talk about one of the most important teachings of the Lord Buddha. So for my presentation today, I have to show something on slides. So my whole presentation will be on slides. So therefore, I want you to pay your attention on your screen, and then while I'm talking to you, you can follow my talk. So let me share my slides with you now. So, Noble Eightfold Path. So I'm very sure that you may have learned about this teaching before. It doesn't matter. So today also, after you show this presentation, after you learn from this presentation, from this talk, actually it will help you to remember again what you have learned before. So, Noble Eightfold Path, that is the Lord Buddha's prescriptions to overcome suffering. You may, if you are not forgotten, if you don't forget, if you have not forgotten what we have talked last week, in the 4th Noble Truth, I told you that Lord Buddha prescribed the remedy, prescription for people to overcome from suffering. So today I'm going to give you and I'm going to explain you further about that prescription, about that remedy in order to overcome from this suffering. Please pay your attention very well, okay? And write down some of the important points that you think that is really important to you. So this is Noble Eightfold Path. It starts with right understanding, Samma Ditti, right thought, Samma Sankappa, right speech, Samma Vacha, right action, Samma Kammanta, right livelihood, Samma Ajiva, right effort, Samma Vayama, right mindfulness, Samma Sati, and right concentration, Samma Samadhi. These are called right Noble Eightfold Path, and also it is called middle path. It is easy to practice for people to overcome from their suffering. So let's talk about each one briefly. You know that earlier also I mentioned that in my previous presentation I mentioned that when you practice these Eightfold Path, actually it helps you to develop, improve, enhance 3 qualities in you. They are called 3 essential training or discipline in Buddhism: Sila, morality, and mental discipline, Samadhi, and wisdom, Prajna. So when you practice these 8 noble qualities or 8 noble factors, actually those 8 noble factors help you to develop improve, enhance these three great qualities, Sila, Samadhi, Prajna. So further, these noble eight factors are categorized into these three qualities. That means all those noble eightfold path, all those noble eightfold factors have categorized into these three qualities or three division. Let me explain to you one by one, okay? I hope that up to this level you have a clear picture of what I'm talking about. So when we talk about the sila, morality, the first three things that comes out of eight factors are right speech, samma vacha, right action, samma kammanta, right livelihood, samma ajiva, right? Sorry, yeah. So these are the three things that comes under sila. So let me explain to you one by one briefly. What do you mean by samma vacha? Samma vacha means right speech. Do you speak right speech always? I hope that you all speak right words. Right speech simply means to avoid. Avoid from what? Avoid from lying and false speech and slanderous divisive speech, hard words and idle talks, idle chatters. So those are called right speech. Those people who can avoid from all those bad things, bad lines, false speech, slanderous and divisive words, they are called right speech. So that's why they are called samma vacha. If people can avoid, right, you already observe 5 precepts. From the 5 precepts also, we usually observe, we refrain from telling lies, false speech, slanderous words, divisive words. So if someone can avoid from those bad speech, bad kind of words, so that is called right speech, because it's very important. Most of the times our evil actions depends on our words, right? From words we decide which action going to be done, right? Good action or bad action. So always our actions based on our words, our kind of words. So that is all about samma vacha. So think about now, what kind of words do you usually use? Right speech or bad speech, right? You also have to remember them. So next one, samma kammanta, right actions. What do you mean by right actions? So the Buddha mentioned that right action mean following the first 3 precepts of 5 precepts. What is the first one? First one, they are abstaining from killing. We have to abstain from killing and killing any living beings, and abstaining from stealing, not taking what is not given to you, and abstaining from sensual misconduct. These are called right actions. So I'm very sure that our old Sunday school children may not engage in killing, right? May not engage in disturbing animals, may not engage in stealing. So those are called right actions. If you avoid from these bad behavior, bad actions, so that is called right action. So when we practice these qualities, actually you respect the people, you respect the members of the society, and also you respect the living of other beings in this world. And also it will help you to control your senses as well, right? So that is all about samma kammanta. Samma ajiva, right livelihood. What do you mean by right livelihood? Right livelihood means to avoid any kind of jobs, any kind of occupation which bring harms to other people. For example, if you engage in selling weapons or intoxicated drinks like poisons. So those are considered as a bad kind of occupations. So you need to avoid from all those bad kind of occupations, right? So then you have to find the right method in order to earn your living, right? Like a just and fair kind of jobs, so that then you can actually make your life more better in this world and hereafter. So that is all about Samma Ajiva. So now we are going to move on to mental discipline. It is called Samadhi. So when we talk about the Samadhi, under Samadhi there are three main factors out of Eight Noble Path. What are those? Right effort. First one is right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So let me talk about each one briefly. Samma Vayama, right? Right effort. Samma Vayama. When we talk about Samma Vayama, it means right effort involves avoiding and removing evil tendencies and cultivate good attitude in your mind. And also you must have a strong determination and a strong effort in order to prevent and in order to enhance these following four factors. What are those fourfold? You must have good effort to prevent the arising of bad and unskillful thoughts which have not arisen yet. And also you must have good effort in order to abandon bad and unskillful thought which have already arisen in you. And also you must have strong determination to generate and develop good skillful thoughts which have not yet arisen in you. And also you must have a strong dedication and effort to maintain and sustain good skillful thoughts which have already arisen in you. So these are the effort, these are the things that you need to put a lot of effort in order to avoid and in order to enhance and maintain. So that is all about Samma Vayama. And next one, Samma Sati, right mindfulness. What do you mean by right mindfulness? Right mindfulness means the fully awareness of body and mindfulness of your body and feelings and mind and also the ideas. When you talk about the awareness of your body, like when you eat food, when you walk, when you sleep, so all kind of body activities of the body, you need to be aware. And feelings, when you talk about feeling, it can be pleasant feelings, unpleasant feelings, neutral feelings. So all those feelings you must have a very good awareness of your feelings. So this is all about mindfulness. Mindfulness is very important for you to improve your concentration further through the practice of meditation. One of the greatest methods to practice fully mindfulness is Anapanasati meditation. Breathe in and breathe out, right? You can practice that when you are free. So that is all about Samma Sati. Let's move on to the next one. Samma Samadhi, right concentration. What do you mean by right concentration? It is the fully calmness of your mind, steady of your mind, and fully focus of your mind, and one-pointedness. That means your mind is really very calm and quiet in this right concentration. So when you are in the right concentration, actually it's help you to experience 4 stages of jhana. First jhana, second, third, and fourth. In that way, you can develop your mind into greater sense. So that is all about Samma Samadhi, right concentration. So let's move on to the last part of my presentation. Wisdom, prajna. So in order to gain wisdom, you need to follow right understanding and right thoughts. You must have right thoughts and you must have right understanding in order to gain wisdom. So let me explain to you right understanding and right thoughts. Right understanding, samma ditti, right view. What do you mean by right understanding, right samma ditti? It is the understanding of the Four Noble Truths, right? The suffering, cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, and way to the cessation of suffering. So if you have a very good understanding of the Four Noble Truths, and that is the called right understanding. And also you need to have proper understanding to see the true nature of everything, right? Like we call this impermanence, and also subject to change, everything. So if you can see the things as they are, that is called right understanding. And also if you have very good understanding of the cause of karma, and the consequences of karma, and there is a birth after this, and if you do good things, you will get a good result. If you do the bad things, you will get a bad result. So if you have such kind of understanding, that is called right understanding. So you need to improve your right understanding, Samma Ditti. So that is all about right understanding. So the last one, Samma Sankappa, right thoughts. What do you mean by right thoughts? You must always have very good, kind thoughts towards the people, right? You must have the thoughts of love. You must have thoughts of kindness. You must cultivate the generosity. You must have the thoughts of non-violence to all the members, all the beings in this world, right? So that is very, very important. If you have the negative thoughts or hatred thoughts towards other people, then that kind of thoughts may bring you bad result in this world and also in the next world. So you must not have the great hatred and deluded kind of thoughts in yourself. You always must have the very kind and compassionate thoughts toward all the members, all the beings of this world. So this is all about my presentation, and this is all about Noble Eightfold Path. And I hope that you may have understood what I have talked, because this is a very large topic, huge topic. But according to the time limitation, I had to speak briefly my presentation, and all the details I have given to you briefly. And I hope that you may have got the fully understanding of my presentation and about the Eight Noble Path. And if you have any questions about my presentation, you can raise your questions at the end of our presentation, and then I am glad to answer to all the questions that you raise. Thank you very much. Therwan Sarana.
Thank you, Venerable Shanta Vimalathero, for a very engaging and useful talk during our session today. It brings together many Buddhist teachings such as Kamma Vipaka, the Four Noble Truths, and meditation. We'll be talking about meditation later on this session, so that's great. Our next speaker is Nandalal teacher. Many of you would have seen him at assemblies, around the classes, and have also been taught by him. He has prepared a Jataka story for you, which illustrates how important it is to be determined and never give up. This is a quality we can take with us through every situation in life. And what a great way to learn it, because I know how much you all like stories. Okay, over to you, Nandalal, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dilini teacher. Most Venerable Shanta Vimalathero, dear panel members, parents, and my dear children. Ayubowan. I hope you are all well and in good health. I'm quite pleased to be with you today, to be delivering the lesson, even though I cannot physically see you. I have prepared some slides on the Jataka story. Before starting the story, I would like to give you a bit of background. Rather than just hearing a story, there are other things we can learn from this Jataka. So first of all, what are Jataka stories? They are the previous life stories of Lord Buddha. And I would like to get away a little bit away from my main topic. I'd like to speak to you a little bit about attainment of Buddhahood. Attainment of Buddhahood is an impossible task. It may happen once in an unimaginably long period of time. There aren't any words for me to tell you how long this period of time is. It is such an unimaginably long period of time. Now, I said to you it is an impossible task. It is an impossible task because a person has to be dedicated for developing mental qualities over such an unimaginably long period of time. So this period of time could be even larger than the number of grains on Earth, or it could be even a number greater than the droplets of water in the all ocean. So you can imagine how big this number could be, right? The other thing is these developed qualities would be accumulated from life to life. So when you come to the last life, in the last life of any Buddha, when on the path for the enlightenment, these accumulated qualities will give the moral strength at required occasions. I'll give you a couple of examples from Lord Buddha's life. Okay, can you remember the night Prince Siddhartha left the palace? On that night, he left his loving wife, his newly born son, his father, his kingdom, 3 palaces, and all the luxuries of a royal life, and he just left them without hesitation. And in the next day, he was on the streets with a begging bowl, from royal luxuries to a beggar. How could he do that? Because he had practiced the quality of renunciation over a long period of time. The second example. Can you remember ascetic Siddhartha's 6-year struggle? How hard did he try? So actually he was almost near his deathbed, and actually some people thought he was dead. And but Lord Buddha, ascetic Siddhartha, he kept trying year after year, day after day for 6 years. It was a fruitless task. He didn't know at that time. He didn't get any success, but he didn't give up his trying. He kept trying on and on and on and on for 6 years. So you could see how these qualities helped him in his last life. Now, actually, I've told you 2 qualities, the renunciation and the perseverance, and there are actually 10 such qualities, and they are called as, in Pali, paramis. In English, we call them as perfections. So, so these are the 10 paramis. You can see generosity, virtuous conduct, renunciation, wisdom, perseverance, tranquility, patience, endurance, truthfulness, resolute determination, equanimity, and loving kindness. So when you take any previous life of a Buddha where he is on the path for accumulating these qualities, would be called a Bodhisattva life. And you may have heard that Bodhisattva born as an animal. Yes, it is possible for a Bodhisattva to be born as an animal too. Now in a Jataka story, there are 2 parts. One is the current story, and another part called previous story. Current story, it describes the background of the situation which led Lord Buddha to preach the Jataka story. Generally, it would be a misbehavior of a bhikkhu or a person. So Lord Buddha would look into the previous lives of this person with his divine powers, and then he would see this same person misbehaving in his previous lives too. So Lord Buddha would advise the person, okay, you have been doing this you've been doing this in an earlier life too, so it is a time for you to now correct yourself to be on the spiritual path. So he will advise accordingly. So now we can get into our Jataka story, Vannupata Jataka story. All right. Now, first the current story. Now, long time ago, in the kingdom of Varanasi, when King Brahmadatta was the king, Bodhisattva was born as a merchant. He had a caravan of 500 carts, and he would travel from place to place and selling goods and making his living through this activity. Now, once he had to go across a huge desert. So this is such a huge desert, you have to carry many days' supplies, water, food, and everything. So, and also this desert was, there should be some power slides on this Jataka too. Let me try to get it. Yes. Okay, so actually, I need to be. I've gone to the Jataka stories directly, but I should have told you the current story first. Apologize me for that. And I will tell you the current story first. So it would be like this. So there was a young boy who came to see Lord Buddha when Lord Buddha was residing in Jetavana. So he, after listening to Dhamma, he became so pleased with the Dhamma, he wanted to become a Samanera or a young bhikkhu. So he, being a Samanera for some period of time, he became a bhikkhu. And at that moment he thought, okay, now is the time for me to try for enlightenment. So I would go to the forest for my enlightenment. And so he went to the actually he thought that he need to practice meditation in the forest to gain enlightenment. So he went to Lord Buddha to get instruction for meditation. After getting suitable instructions, he left for the forest and he meditated for 3 months. So he kept trying for 3 months, but he didn't attain the enlightenment. So he thought like this, okay, maybe I'm not a person who is not capable of attaining enlightenment in this life. So I will postpone it for another life. So in this life, the best thing I can do would be to listen to Lord Buddha's Dhamma, and I would go back to the Jetavana temple and I'll be around there and listening to Dhamma sermons. So he went back, he didn't practice. And also he was not using his time wisely. He was just walking around chatting with the other bhikkhus and wasting a lot of time. So seeing this, the other bhikkhus, they became inquisitive. They came to him and asked, now some time back, you said you were going to the forest to practice meditation for enlightenment. Now you come back and we don't see you to be practicing. Have you gained enlightenment already? The bhikkhu became very embarrassed with this question, but he had to admit that he hasn't attained enlightenment, and he said that I'm not trying even now. Yes, I'm not trying for it now. So the other bhikkhus forced him to go to see Lord Buddha, but he refused. But the other bhikkhus kept asking him, so he had to go even though he didn't want to go. So reluctantly he went to Lord Buddha, and now he is in front of Lord Buddha. With his divine powers, Lord Buddha could see all what has happened, but still he asked, why the bhikkhu? What's the matter? Then he explains his background to coming in front of Lord Buddha, and then Lord Buddha, with his divine powers, looks into the previous life of the bhikkhu, and then he tells something like this. Oh bhikkhu, you in a previous life, you managed to save a group of people's life when there was no water to be found in a desert. How can you give up like this? So so in a previous life you were like that. How come you give up so easily? So the bhikkhu became very embarrassed with this, with Lord Buddha's blame. And the other bhikkhus, hearing the previous life story of this bhikkhu, asked respectfully Lord Buddha to preach the previous life story. So Lord Buddha tells the his previous life story. That was actually what I started telling at the beginning by my mistake. So let's get back to that story, previous life story. So Lord Buddha was born as a merchant at the time of King Brahmadatta, and he used to go from place to place selling goods, and he had 500 caravans. So once he had to go across a huge desert. So they had to carry many days worth of adequate food and water. So they were traveling across this huge desert. And also another thing about this huge desert was it is so hot during the daytime. You cannot travel, and so they would rest under a shade. In the evening they start traveling. So mostly nighttime travel. But how could they find the nighttime the directions? There would be a person who could read stars. He's called the desert pilot. So he would be at the very front and he would look at the stars and find the direction, and the others would be following him. So now they were coming nearer to the end of their journey. So Bodhisattva made a request to the others. Okay, now we are coming near to the end. No need to carry all this excess water and stuff. We will remove them, so we can travel faster. So the group of people did like that. They are relieved of their excess water and stuff. So in the evening they start their journey again. So somehow in the morning they find they are in the same place as the previous night. The previous day. So what has happened here? What has happened basically, the lead pilot, he has fallen asleep because he's been traveling for many days. He was tired. So after so many days traveling, and the bulls without anyone to guide, so they've been just traveling as they wish, and they just traveled in a circle and come to the previous night's position, a dreadful position. So the people got very scared. They were screaming, "Oh, we are going to die. There's no water. What are we going to do?" But the Bodhisattva, he was calm and wise as always. He was looking around for any sign of water, and he see a small patch of grass. He gathered a group of people and asked them to dig a hole. They keep digging for several hours, but after a few hours, all what they found is a big rock. So the people got even more fearful and they started screaming even louder. But Bodhisattva, he's still calm and he's not disturbed. So he jumps to the hole and kneels down, listen with one ear to the rock. He could hear a very faint sound of water flowing. So then he calls upon a boy who was standing at the edge of the hole and asks him, "Now, young man, all our lives depend upon you. You need to break this stone somehow. And here's a big sledgehammer. Use all your strength to break this." So encouraged by these words, he used all his strength and gave a very big blow and started to break the rock. Actually, one big blow, this rock got split open and there was a huge gush of water as high as a palm tree. So all the people were relieved. They cried in joy. So they drank as much as water they wanted. So the people were very happy. They put on a sign for the others to see there's water there, and they they started their journey again. Then they came to their destination and they sold their good and they became very wealthy people, all of them. A happy ending for all of them. Now, Lord Buddha, after telling the story, he preaches to the bhikkhus now that Lord Buddha was the merchant in that life, and this lad in the previous lifetime was this bhikkhu who has given up this meditation. Now, Lord Buddha preaches Dhamma to this bhikkhu and the others. So the the bhikkhu listens very attentively and he becomes an arahant. Now, what are the lessons you can listen from this Jataka? Now, this bhikkhu, when this bhikkhu postponed his enlightenment for another life, it sounded to me like, yeah, I think that is our end of the slides. Yes, that is our end of the, no, there are a couple more, I think. So, okay, so the, so that is the end of our story. Now, what can we learn from this story? So when the that bhikkhu postponed his enlightenment for another period, it sounded to me like some of the kids, can you remember the times you postponed your things? I'll do it another time. This is too hard. Yeah. So the bhikkhu also did like that. But actually, can you see that the difference between the success and the failure was just a single blow? And so sometimes you may come to a very difficult time and you stop it, but just beyond that may be your success. So you need to keep trying. The second thing you have to learn from this story is this, the Bodhisattva, he kept accumulating his qualities from life to life. This rule applies to anyone. Right? Not only to a Bodhisattva, anyone. Whatever the qualities you accumulate in this life would be carried on for life after life. So what type of qualities do you have? Are you a person full of loving kindness? Or are you a person who always gets angry very easily? Or are you a person full of generosity? Or are you a person with stinginess? So whatever the qualities may be, you would be carrying it from life to life. So be careful. So be about your qualities in life. Try to reduce your bad habits or bad qualities and try to improve your good qualities. Remember the Serivanja story. He died with that hatred and he carried it for many, many lives. And also last week, Vimalsa's Kalakhanni Jataka, that hatred went for life and life after life. So I hope you would also make all your efforts to develop your good qualities and to reduce your bad qualities. Therwan Sarana.
Thank you, sir. We got a bonus revision of the 10 perfections. That was a great story. I was really on the edge of my seat wondering how the monk was going to find the motivation. But it was so reassuring that it came from within him, just from a previous life. So it's something that he could draw upon. Who knows what we can accomplish if we showed some determination. Just another reminder to our lovely viewers about how to ask questions. For those on Microsoft Teams, just post in the Q&A section at the top right-hand corner of the screen. For those on YouTube, you can post in the chat. Our next speaker is a very familiar face. You'll recognise him straight away. Instead of moderator, Siddhanta teacher will be a presenter today. He is going to be telling us all about the Buddha's enlightenment, which is great timing considering that we learned about the ascetic Siddhartha's 6-year struggle and journey to becoming the Lord Buddha in a previous session. Siddhanta Sir will also be teaching us about how the Lord Buddha spent the first 7 weeks following his enlightenment. I now invite Siddhanta Sir to make his presentation. Over to you.
My mic was on mute. Thank you, Dilini teacher, Venerable Swami Vahanse, dear teachers, and my dear children. It is a pleasure, like Dilini teacher mentioned, to share a lesson with you all today. So I have chosen to discuss about the enlightenment and the first 7 weeks of Lord Buddha. What I will do now is I'm going to share my screen so you can see some of the presentation slides as I explain the lesson to you. Just bear with me for a moment, please. Okay, I hope you can see my screen now. As a little segue or entry to the lesson today, Dilini teacher mentioned that earlier we discussed about the 6-year struggle of ascetic Gautama. Now, by this time, ascetic Gautama, ascetic Siddhartha had realized that there is no point following the two extremes. in order to search the answer for end of all suffering. So the two extremes were neither indulging sensual pleasures or not doing the self-mortification anymore. So because of that, ascetic Siddhartha realized that he should take some regular meals. What I mean by regular means, children, that means not just indulging all the senses of desires. Regular meals mean just food, enough food, so ascetic Siddhartha can sustain the life of an ascetic to continue the meditation. And also by this time, ascetic Siddhartha has realized and decided that he must follow the middle path. And it's such a timely event today. Our Shantavimala Thero explained very nicely on the first segment what the middle path is. Let's see what happened next. So here you can see a lady named Sujata was offering milk rice for ascetic Siddhartha. It is a long story about Sujata and how the milk rice offering took a place. But we will discuss that later on another session. What happened from here is after enjoying the meal, ascetic Siddhartha moved on to another Bodhi tree near the rivers of Neranjana as the evening fall, and it was a Vesak full moon Poya day, and he started to meditate. And this is very important, children. The meditation that ascetic Siddhartha used or started off with, something we all know called Anapanasati Bhavana, or the breathing meditation. The regular Sunday school children know that we do practice this as Sunday school most of the time. And let's see what happened next. So here you can see it's the evening, and it was a very special, pleasant evening because the whole world, the whole universe is ready to witness enlightenment of a bodhisattva. This happens very, very, very rarely. So the whole world, the whole universe was ready. There was a pleasant environment. Flowers were in full bloom. The animals were around. A nice smell, nice air, very refreshing. And as the evening falls, something else happened here. You can see there are some strange figures. I'll explain what that is for you very, very quickly. So this is called, there is a person on the elephant, and that is the Deva Mara. He actually wanted to prevent ascetic Siddhartha from achieving the enlightenment, because according to when a bodhisattva attains the Buddhahood, that means a large number of, an uncountable number of people will be also helped. That means with the help of Dhamma, with the help of teaching, all of us also can see the end of the cycle of samsara one day. And Deva Mara did not like that. So he came with the elephant. He usually called, its name is Mani Mekala, on that elephant with his troops, and tried to scare ascetic Gautam, or try to prevent or interrupt the meditation. And when this happened, all the other animals, all the other living beings, divines who were around to witness the enlightenment, they all ran away in fear. Only thing that left with ascetic Siddhartha is the Bodhi tree that he's sitting under, as you can see in the picture. The tree stood unsteadily, provided shelter. But Deva Mara could not do any harm, neither interrupt the meditation, so he soon realized, and he went away. Let's see what happened next. So here you can see in the first segment of the night, ascetic Siddhartha gained a special knowledge called Pubbe Nivasanusati Jnana. With this knowledge, ascetic Siddhartha was able to see how he was born in previous lives, in certain lives as a human, as a divine being, as a Deva, as a Brahma, and in some animal realms as well. And he saw there's no end. You born, you die, and then this endless cycle of samsara. So as the time goes, as the night unfolds, in the middle of the night, or the second segment of the night, ascetic Siddhartha achieved another knowledge called Chatupapata Jnana. With this knowledge, he gained the divine eye, that he could see how other peoples are born and how they pass away and what happens, and in order what the things they do in such certain life, how it could have an impact on the flow and effect with their future lives. And on the dawn approach, the third segment of the night, ascetic Siddhartha's mind had become totally calm and clear. And with this achieved a special knowledge called asavakya jnana, that means understood how to eradicate all the attachments, all the defilements that we are attracted to this cycle of samsara. With this, Lord Buddha achieved the enlightenment and free from this cycle from end of being born and being died. And Lord Buddha was very happy, and with joy, Lord Buddha said Udana Vakya, a long gatha, but I will say the first line of these children. Senior students, you can study this gatha, it's in our books. Aneka jati sansaram sanda visam anibisam. It's a bit of a long verse, but I thought I should mention here for our senior students so you can refer this later on. And this is, children, there is an important lesson that we need to learn here. It's Lord Buddha or Bodhisattva or ascetic Siddhartha's determination. We all knew, even Nandalal sir explained in the previous Jataka story, the completing 10 perfections and all the other virtues to attain enlightenment. For what, children? It's not just so Lord Buddha can end the cycle of samsara. All of us can one day, we will be helped. So with this teaching, we can also see the end of this samsara and end of all the suffering. So that's why, children, we are forever grateful for Lord Buddha for the amount of sacrifice they done for all of us. Because there were many opportunities in Bodhisattva, they had the opportunity to meditate and become as an Arahat and in the cycle, but Bodhisattva didn't do it because he wanted to become a Buddha, so all of us can be helped as well. Even now, over 2,500 years past since the great passing of Lord Buddha, we still, even today, we are discussing, we continue to learn the teachings of Lord Buddha. That's why we are forever grateful, and that we must pay utmost respect for Buddha, Dhamma, the teachings, and the Swami Nuhansi Sangha at all times, children, because we are forever in debt for that big sacrifice Lord Buddha made. Now, this is how Lord Buddha achieved the enlightenment. Now let's, that's the story in summary. It's a very long, detailed story, but let's look at how Lord Buddha spent the first 7 weeks after the enlightenment and some of the events that took place. So the first week, Lord Buddha continued to meditate and experience the bliss of emancipation, or we call it Vimukti Sukha. There are no defilements, no attachments. The mind is free, very calm, and only an enlightenment person can relate to this state. And Lord Buddha continued to enjoy this peaceful state of mind, because many, many years, not just in this last life as a Bodhisattva, spend number of sacrifices completing a lot of virtues. So it's finally some time to relax and enjoy that peacefulness for Lord Buddha. And also I made a quick note for our senior students here. Towards the end of the first week this is where Lord Buddha reflected on Paticca Samuppada. We call it the cause and effect. In 3 different ways Lord Buddha reflected on this. First, Paticca Samuppada, or cause and effect in order. And second, in the reverse order, and thirdly, in order and the reverse order. So that's a quick note for our senior students, as you will continue to learn in our senior classes. So that's how Lord Buddha spent the first week. Now, second week, there's a very important lesson here for us children. This is Lord Buddha actually taught all of us a very important lesson. It's called showing gratitude. Now, if you listen carefully for my previous slide, we knew when Devamara came, tried to prevent ascetic Siddhartha from enlightenment, all the living beings, animals, everything got scared and ran away. Only thing that left was the Bodhi tree that provided shelter and protection to ascetic Siddhartha. So in return, to show gratitude, for the whole second of week, Lord Buddha spent the whole week looking at the Bodhi tree without blinking eyes. We call it Animisa Lochana Pujava. So, and this is a quality that Lord Buddha always praised and demonstrated in many other occasions, that is showing gratitude, children. So even as a Lord Buddha, even as a supreme being, even as a very higher, powerful person, Lord Buddha still spent 1 whole week showing gratitude towards the Bodhi tree. A very important example and also led by example. So that's how Lord Buddha spent the second week after the enlightenment. During the third week, something else happened. Even though now the word has spread, another bodhisattva has enlightenment, gained the enlightenment, or has become a Buddha, and the word is spreading fast, not just in our world, even mainly in the divine realms, the devas and brahmas. No, however, there were certain devas that they still had some doubts. They were not sure whether has Prince Ascetic Siddhartha achieved the enlightenment for sure. So Lord Buddha wanted to clear any doubts that they had. So what Buddha did was he created a golden bridge in the air, and he did sort of a walking meditation during the third week just to clear any doubts that any of the devas had. So that's the third week in summary. During the fourth week, Buddha created a 12 chamber and focused on some of the higher doctrines or intricacies of Abhidhamma. These are some deep, meaningful teachings in Buddhism. There are three different parts. We know we have Sutra, Vinaya, Pitaka, and Abhidhamma, and this is this higher doctrine of children. And during this week, Lord Buddha focused on these intricacies of Abhidhamma, or the higher doctrine. And during this, Lord Buddha's mind was so pure, and the mind was purified and clear. And what happened was the 6 colored rays came out of his body. I couldn't find a proper picture where I can illustrate that, but there are 6 different colors usually that rays around you may have seen at some of the temples, children. Or if not, pay attention when you go next time, you will see. So those colors was very visible to everyone. So that's the fourth week. Okay, now on the fifth week, Buddha spent the week under a banyan tree called Ajapala banyan tree. And it's normal, children, from a Buddha or any ascetic or a monk to move from one tree to the other. That's the normal way of life back in the day. And also at this time, there were no temples, there were no followers at this stage. So during the fifth week, 3 daughters of Mara tried to disturb the meditation. So what happened? Earlier, we knew Mara couldn't interrupt Lord Buddha from achieving the enlightenment. So Mara was very upset. He wasn't happy, and his daughters realized this and asked, "Why, Father, you don't look very happy?" And then he explained what happened, that he got defeated. So the daughter said, "Fear no more, Father. We will go and interrupt the meditation of Buddha." And so they appear as 3 beautiful daughters. They named as Tanha, Rati, and Raga. This is the story in summary. And they tried to interrupt. They did a lot of seductive dancing. They did a lot of sang songs and number of different acts. A normal person like you and me would have been easily distracted or even go crazy. But Buddha was not interrupted, not even for a millisecond. So that soon the daughters realized that they couldn't do anything, so they went away. And on the right-hand picture, you can see Buddha continue to practice or focus on meditation uninterruptedly. That's how Lord Buddha spent this 5th week. And now we've come to the 6th week here, is where, as you can see in the picture, I will explain something special happened. And usually in tropical countries, children, like Sri Lanka, India, those countries, in a certain period of time, we get heavy rain. We call it monsoon. Some of you may have experienced if you were in Sri Lanka at a certain period of time, and this rain goes for sometimes days and weeks. So a similar thing happened at the beginning of the 6th week. There was a heavy rain. And then there was a Naga, another realm, another type of beings that we call ourselves human. And then there are devas, there are brahmas, and there are other spirits, and there is another type of species called Naga, and they're usually in the Naga realm. And he saw that Lord Buddha did not have a place to stay, so he took a form of a big king cobra and provided protection for Buddha for the whole time of the 6th week. Now, if you ask what's the name of the Naga, it's also said Muchalinda, but there are 2 ways I can explain this. If you go to India, you will see it's also there is a tree called Muchalinda. So there is no very clear answer what's the name of the king cobra. Some may say Muchalinda, some may say that Lord Buddha meditated under the Muchalinda tree with the protection of king cobra. That's what it is. And in Sinhala, we call this Muchalinda tree as Midelle tree. That's a quick note as well for you children. And at the end of the 6th week, the king cobra changed his form. So the Nagas has the ability to change their form and disguise. But at the end of the 6th week, he changed his shape and appeared as a young man and paid his respect towards Lord Buddha, and he went away. So that's the end of the 6th week. And the 7th week is where Lord Buddha spent the time under the tree called Rajayatana tree. And at the 7th day, there were two followers, happened to pass by from a nearby village called Ukkala. And these two people, their names are Tapasu and Balluka. Sometimes also Balluka referred as Balika as well in some reference. So they were two merchants. They were going from village to village, and then they go on sea voyage as well. They travel from country to country. So at the 7th day, they happened to pass by, and they realized there was Buddha, and they had breakfast. So with respect, they offered some of their food as breakfast for Buddha. And then they didn't know who Buddha was. So Buddha, after the meal, Buddha very shortly explained that I am someone is Buddha, someone has achieved the enlightenment, free from all suffering. And they were very pleased of what they heard. And they asked in return, can we have something that they can take with them so they can continue to worship? This is a very important point, children. Now, these Tapasu and Balluka are the first two lay followers of Buddha. So then Lord Buddha touched his hair and got a few hairs. With respect, we call this Kesa Dhatu. And the Tapasu and Balluka got the Kesa Dhatu, and they continue to go on their journey. So the story goes as this. They went from village to village, and then they were on the sea and landed in Sri Lanka, and a place called Girihandu. It's northeast of Trincomalee, and then they built a stupa there. And even to date, you can see the Girihandu stupa. What I will show you, children, I will show you a quick photo at the end of this. So if you go to Sri Lanka, you can see this Girihandu Saya, the modern day Girihandu Saya. And then what I want to show you before I finish, I want to show you a couple of other photos, very important. I will show you how the actual Bodhi tree look like in modern day India. So here you will see this is the modern day Bodhi tree where the place Buddha achieved the enlightenment. This place is in district of Jaya in the state of Bihar, northeast India. It's a big country, got different number of different states, like in Australia, like Victoria, New South Wales, like that. India has also different states, and this is in the northeast part of the India called the state of Bihar, and the place called the Gaya district, Bodh Gaya. So this is not actually the original tree because it was destroyed. What you see today is an uproot that appeared later on. However, children, it is very, very important. There is a sapling from the original tree that's situated in Sri Lanka. I hope you know the answer for this, and I hope you have worshipped this place if you were in Sri Lanka, if you've been to. If not, I encourage parents as well to take your children and show this place. This is the Jayasri Mahabodhi tree in Anuradhapura, children. This is a sapling from the original Bodhi tree planted in Anuradhapura in the 3rd century by Arahat Sangamita Theri. We know, children, we discussed in a lesson about the Emperor Asoka. And at the time, the king in Sri Lanka was King Devanam-Pitisa, is the one who respectfully planted. And this is how the Bodhi tree look in modern day. Lastly, children, as I mentioned, this is how the Girihandu stupa look like in Tihar Tiriyaya in Trincomalee, Sri Lanka. So this is the modern day. What we believed is the place where Tapasu and Balluka, the first two merchants, where they built the stupa, is the place. That's what you can see if you travel today. That's what you can see. Now, also, children, you may ask your parents or grandparents, they may have been to India. We call it Dambadiva pilgrimage. that they go worship these places where Lord Buddha was enlightened, and with the places where Lord Buddha spent the 7 weeks, and other important areas. So I encourage you, when you grow up, before it's too late, while you're young and able and capable, go see these places. It's very important. There is a lot of things you can see and you can learn as you travel. That is the end of my presentation today. Now I'm going to end this slide here, and I'm going to bring it back to myself quickly, and we will see what are the couple of things we can learn from this lesson today. All right, children, there are a couple of important things. One is the determination of the Bodhisattva, that how much time and effort made by Bodhisattva to achieve the enlightenment, not for the personal benefit, but for the benefit of all of us. And the second important thing is about showing gratitude. Lord Buddha himself showed this during the 2nd week, during the Animisa Lochana Puja. So I'll try to do a big lesson with the time I have. I hope you've learned something. That's it for today. If you have any questions, as Dilini teacher explained, you can ask those questions, and we'll see if we can answer at the end. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Dilini teacher.
Thank you, sir. A spiritual reminder of how truly great our Lord Buddha is and what he can accomplish. Also, a reminder to the students listening at home to follow the middle path and to keep trying despite what obstacles you face, and to always be grateful. Our next speaker is a well-loved teacher of Sunday school, Ajanti teacher. She has prepared a very relevant and useful presentation on meditation and mindfulness. She will give you some pointers on how to meditate effectively and how it helps us every day. Over to you, Ajanti teacher.
Ayubowan, my name is Ajanti. I hope you all are doing well. I'm sure you miss your friends, your school, and also your Sunday school. I also miss Sunday school, and I miss you all very much. I hope to see you all very soon. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of meditation, and I would like to start my talk with a quote of a very famous meditation teacher. A mindful child is like a blooming flower, fresh and unspoiled, radiating positive energy and good vibrations. In my talk today, I am using 2 important words, meditation and mindfulness. So what is meditation? The meaning of meditation is the development or cultivation. The Buddhist term for meditation is bhavana. By meditating, we develop or cultivate our minds. Purpose of meditation is to purify our mind, remove negative emotions like greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, and delusion, and cultivate noble qualities like detachment, wisdom, metta, and karuna. This is the meaning of development of mind. We cannot develop our minds if we are not mindful. Mindfulness means you focus on the present moment. You don't think about the past or the future. We only need to focus on what we are doing in this present moment. You can maintain mindfulness in every situation and place. You can practice your mindfulness daily. You can do it anywhere. Mindfulness and meditation practice in Buddhism is the path to nirvana, and there are other benefits as well. Now let's talk about the other benefits. First thing is mindfulness helps you to manage your emotions. These days we are watching a lot of news, we are talking about a lot of negative things. So you always get these bad feelings like fear, uncertainty, sadness, and even anger. I can actually tell you an example. A month ago, I started to watch a lot of news about this coronavirus. I read articles, I was checking how many people are affected. I watched a lot of sad videos on YouTube, and I even talk about this with my friends. I was so worried about my 8-year-old son, my husband who works in the city, and also my parents who live in Kandy, Sri Lanka. I was having a lot of negative thoughts, And this actually gave me an anxiety. So I was thinking too much about the future and I was so worried about my loved ones. Then I decided to stop watching news and talking about it and just focus on what I'm doing in this present moment. Now I'm much more calmer and peaceful. I think you can just practice your good hygiene and just be aware of the situation. If you're mindful, you're well aware of your thoughts. If you have a bad thought, you can switch that bad thought to a good positive thought. Another advantage of mindfulness is when you get very strong emotions, you can be aware of them, but you don't react to them. You just acknowledge that you're having these bad emotions. Mindfulness also can improve your immunity. If you're stressed or if you're having bad thoughts, it can make your body very sick. So if you practice your meditation, you can have a healthy mind and also a healthy body. I think it's really important in a stressful situation like this. If you struggle to fall asleep at night, try to meditate for a few minutes before going to sleep. This will help you to fall asleep fast and have a good night's sleep. Lord Buddha taught the monks how to fall asleep and how to wake up mindfully. He said, don't try too hard, just think that I am going to sleep mindfully. Most people, even kids, when they go to bed, they start thinking about their day, the movies or the cartoons they watch or the conversations they made during the day. So it takes really long time for them to fall asleep. Next day, they feel very exhausted because of this. When you practice your mindfulness, you pay attention to your body, becoming more relaxed, calm, and peaceful. The mind is very peaceful and calm when there are no powerful thoughts or daydreaming, then you can fall asleep fast. There are other benefits of meditation or mindfulness as well. It can help you to improve your studies and also your memory. Also, you will be able to focus on one thing at a time. This will also improve your performance at school and also your grades. If you can maintain your mindfulness even when you're traveling on a bus or even when you're in the car or when you're riding your bicycle or even when you're in your classroom, you'll be able to understand, remember, pay attention and learn more. Children usually lead very busy lives. They have to go to various classes. They have to do so many tests every week. They don't even get to play outside much. Children who meditate daily are very peaceful, happy and calm. They listen to their parents and teachers and also they behave really well with their friends at school. If you are a peaceful, calm, loving, compassionate, mindful and wise person, you can be satisfied with who you are and it does not matter whether other people think highly of you or not. Now let's talk about different ways to meditate or maintain mindfulness in a given object. The first one is the sitting meditation. You can do this at night after worshipping the Lord Buddha or after chanting your pirit and gathas. Sit in a comfortable position on the floor or on a chair. If you're sitting on the floor, keep your legs crossed and keep your hands in your lap, one on top of the other. Keep your back straight, keep your eyes closed, then concentrate on your breathing. Breathe in mindfully, breathe out mindfully. This should be done every day at the same time, at least for 10 minutes. This gives you the time to rest, relax, and calm down. When you're practicing your meditation or when you're meditating, you'll find some disturbances such as unpleasant sounds, pains and thoughts. Try not to react to them, just watch them mindfully. The second one is walking meditation. You can do walking meditation in your room or in your backyard. I actually prefer to do it outside. A sandy walking path is ideal. You can walk on a very long mat or even on grass. Walking barefoot is highly recommended. Most children prefer walking meditation than sitting meditation. While walking slowly, we can reflect that we are walking, not sitting. You need to keep your eyes wide open and see how many steps you can take mindfully. You can also experience the feet touching the ground and also experience different sensations such as heat and cold. The meditation does not mean sitting in a very quiet place in a certain posture with crossed legs and closed eyes. This is just a part of meditation. Lord Buddha said we have to be mindful in all our movements, including walking, talking, and even eating. So when you wake up in the morning tomorrow, when you are brushing your teeth, just focus on that. Don't think about anything else. When you're doing it, do it slowly. Then you can notice how your toothbrush is touching your gums and your teeth. And also you can notice the flavor of your toothpaste. Likewise, when you are washing your hands, even when you are playing a game, you can learn to do it slowly, mindfully, and silently. Also, when you're closing a door, washing a plate or a cup, or even when you are talking, just focus on the noise you are making. This will help you to improve your mindfulness. If you are sitting quietly without interacting with anyone, just pay attention to your body and to your mind. Every single day, we should be fully mindful or completely aware of what we do or say. Being mindful can be challenging during the day, even for adults. But if you keep practicing your mindfulness and meditation, your parents, your teachers, and even your friends will start noticing a difference in you. So today we talk about the benefits of meditation in a stressful situation, also various ways to meditate and how to maintain mindfulness. I hope you'll start practicing your meditation with your parents at least 10 minutes a day. I think it will help the whole family to be happy and calm in this stressful time. I would like to end my talk with a quote of Lord Buddha. Do not dwell in the past. Do not worry or feel anxious about the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Theruvan Saranai. Over to you, Dilini.
Sorry, my microphone was muted. Thank you, Ajanti teacher. I think I'll do some meditation once we finish up here. I'm feeling inspired to calm my mind and concentrate on the present moment. So everyone, we've covered a lot of information today, and I'm very proud of you for all your attention. Good work. From the Eightfold Noble Path to the Jataka story about never giving up, Vannupata Jataka, to the Buddha's enlightenment and first 7 weeks, and now finally coming to the importance of meditation. Well done. Now let's answer some of your questions. The first question I have is for Venerable Shanta Vimalathero. Theruvan Saranai Hamudurune. There is a question for you here. So the question is, if everyone in the world becomes a monk, who is going to give donations and dana?
That is a very good question, actually. So if everybody become a monk, then question is that if everybody become monks, who going to give dana, right? How can I answer to this question? It's a very something like very interesting questions. I think I don't think that all the people will become monks one day. I hope if they can become monks like that, because becoming monk is not a very simple way of practice, and it's a very great dedication. Some people may think that it's a very easy and simple way for becoming a monk. Even though some people become monks, so monks still can go for alms, and sometimes there will be some people to offer some food. If not, monks can prepare themselves. Yeah. If monks can prepare their food themselves, and they don't need to depend on the food of the other people. They can prepare themselves like what we are doing at the moment, right, at the temple. Due to the pandemic situation, the COVID, so we don't go for food, but we prepare ourselves. So in that way, according to the situation, monk can adjust their life. Don't have to worry about the things that they don't get. Don't have to worry about the food that if they don't get, somehow they can find, and somehow if they don't get, they can prepare themselves. That is what I can tell for these questions. I hope that will give the clear understanding of that question. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable Shanta Vimalathero. I think that was a very good answer. Now I have a question for Nandalal teacher. Your question, teacher, is how did the man split the rock in one blow? Over to you, Nandalal, sir.
Thank you, Dildi teacher. That's a very tricky question. Okay. Well, if you look up for the Vannupada Jataka in the internet, you will find, if you're looking for the English version, you will find few different versions. If I remember correctly, when I prepared this lesson maybe a couple of years ago for the grade 4, if I remember correctly, the one that I said, that one I read said one blow. So all these versions, they have the same core Jataka story, but they may vary from one to one slightly. So it may have happened in one, or it may not have happened in one. So the other thing, remember in this story, the group of people, they were just digging and they gave up after digging. And probably this young lad, he did not join in the digging, and he was not tired. So the others did not want to try any further after digging so long. And he was given a sledgehammer. It is a big thing. So maybe he had the others were tired, and this person, since he didn't try, he had the energy to break it. Maybe, I don't know. So anyway, the important thing is whether it happened in the first blow, the second blow, or the 10th blow. I do not think that is not the important thing. The important thing is that when all the others gave up, one person tried and he met with success. So if that person didn't try, all of them would have been perished. So I think that is the message we have to take from that lesson.
Thank you, Nandalal, sir, for a great answer, and also bringing our attention back to the important moral of the story, which was determination. I do have a couple of questions here for Siddhanta, sir, as well. So your questions, sir, are what did Mara want to stop people from escaping samsara? And the second question is how did Lord Buddha stay without blinking his eyes? Over to you, Siddhanta teacher.
Thank you, Dilini teacher, and thank you for that duo or Buddha who asked the questions. First question is, I think, why Mara wanted to stop ascetic Siddhartha from preventing the enlightenment, or what's the reason? So Mara is a divine being. A short answer here is Mara is a divine being, and his domain is that he wants us to be attached to these the sensual pleasures and continue for us to go on this samsara. So the short answer is that, and when a Bodhisattva becomes enlightened, and he knew that a lot of other people will be able to end this cycle of samsara. So that's the short answer. Second question is, how did Lord Buddha maintained or completed 1 week without blinking eyes and looking at or gazing towards the Bodhi tree? The short answer again here is Lord Buddha has number of powers, both physical and mental powers, and that's just one of them. Hopefully, maybe in a future lesson, we can look at some of the powers that Lord Buddha had. And I hope that would have provided a quick answer for those two questions. Over to you, Dilni teacher.
Thank you, Siddhanta teacher. So unfortunately, we are running out of time to answer everybody's questions, but I would just like to thank everybody for their attention. Just before we let you go, there are two things that I'd like to address. Firstly, I'd like to remind everyone at home that you can all get together at 7:30 p.m. every night and be involved in the daily Buddha Puja and Pirith chanting over YouTube, and this is while it is broadcasted live from the temple. Secondly, I'd like to draw your attention to the members of our live stream team who work tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that we're broadcasting smoothly. Thank you to the speakers for your preparation and delivery of this valuable resource. And thanks again to parents and students for making your time available to us. I hope you've all learnt something and can make a positive contribution to your lives. May you all be safe and healthy during this uncertain time, and I hope to see you all for our normal classes soon. I will now respectfully invite the Venerable Shanta Vimalathero to conduct the sharing of merits and conclude our session. Teruvan Saranai, Avasarai Swamin Wahanse.
Teruvan Saranai, thank you, Dilini and other members of the panel. Now we have come to the conclusion of our program, and we have successfully done this program as well as we expected. So now it is time for us to share and dedicate some merits with the divine beings and celestial beings. As you know that when we do something good, when we share the teachings of the Buddha to the world with the people, actually we can accumulate some forms of merits. So those merits we can share with deities and divine beings, and we can request them to protect us from all these kind of problems and situations we face in our day-to-day life. So let's concentrate your mind, and think about all the good deeds that you have done today, having taken part in this great discussion. And throughout this discussion, if you have done something good and if you have accumulated merits, so may all the merits be with all the divine beings and celestial beings, and may all divine beings and celestial beings be able to take part in these good merits, and having taken part of these good merits, may all divine beings come forward and extend their protection and guidance toward all the members, all the human beings and all the beings in this world. May divine being protect you very well. May divine beings give their protection and guidance towards all of you to have a peace and happy and fortunate life throughout the life of journey. Having wished that, we recite together, okay? Akasattha cha bummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha cha bummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu desanang. Akasattha cha bummattha devanaga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chiran rakkantu tvang sadha. And I finally wish you all the best and good luck and good health. May all of you be well and happy. May the new year, singular new year, be successful one. May all of you be well and happy. Wish you all the best.